Good evening. We are live on the Believe in Monsters podcast, a part of the Believe Network. Big thanks to the Believe Network for putting us on each and every week to talk about our Chicago Bears. We are back for another episode, another week, breaking down the Bears' loss 27-24 at the Atlanta Falcons. Disappointing loss. The Bears now on a 4-game losing streak. Lucas Berry, Chris Krogman, and Joe Gaither ready to break it down with you and set you up for the next week's matchup at the New York Jets. We hope you and yours are having a happy Thanksgiving week. Safe travels to all of you all with you and your family or your friends or whatever circumstance or situation you find yourself in. We are hoping that you enjoy this holiday season. We're hoping that the Bears, oh my gosh, finally break this losing streak and help us celebrate our holiday season a little bit easier. Chris Krogman, Father, what do you have planned for the family for Thanksgiving week?
Well, Mr. Gaithler, that's a good question. Both of my kids have been sick. RSV, if you know what that is running rampant through Colorado. So the host of Thanksgiving is my brother-in-law who has a 2-year-old. So we don't want to bring RSV down there in case the 4-year-old still has it, but now he's got a stomach bug and he's been throwing up all day, so that's fun. So I don't know what we're doing. If everything goes well, we'll be at my brother-in-law's house on Thursday eating some foods. What about y'all?
Yeah, Joe, what about you?
Well, I'll be praying to my Justin Fields altar that we can finally have one of these close games turn into a Bears win. But other than that, yeah, I'll have a pretty low key day. Being thankful for Justin Fields and being thankful for Ryan Poles and thankful for this coaching staff. Lucas, you do anything special?
I will be traveling back to Pennsylvania either tomorrow or Thursday morning, which will be fun on the busiest travel day of the year. So
Gross.
I'm looking forward to that drive, not
Should do it
that
tomorrow.
drive being over. Huh?
Should do it tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. I have to work all day, and then it's going to be like 4 o'clock rush hour traffic. So I'm just debating, but might leave just later tomorrow. Later, take a nap when I get home.
There you go.
And brave the night driving
Get there
through New
like
York.
2 a.m.
Yeah, driving through New York at rush hour is not going to be fun tomorrow. So
What's your commute time? Like 6 hours?
yeah, it should be about 6. Probably would be about 7 or 8 tomorrow if I had to guess.
With like if you didn't like in the middle of rush hour or outside of rush hour?
Yeah. If I left at rush hour, I don't know. This year's kind of weird though, because a lot of people work remote, so they've been commuting for Thanksgiving all week, I guess. So that might.
Do you take any public transportation, like trains or anything?
All the prices are way jacked up, so that's probably out of the cards. But it's all good. I will get to see my family then, and my fiance's family. So it will be all good to
3
reunite.
football games.
3 football games. The Lions might actually have an exciting Thanksgiving game for once. Not really, actually. They play Buffalo. Wow. The Lions are actually decent and, well, hotter right now, and they're playing Buffalo.
Did Buffalo just hang out there? They just wait?
That's what I was going to say. They should have.
I think that's what they said they were going to do.
I mean, that would be wise. That's crazy. Buffalo did that last week, and they didn't even leave their they didn't practice.
Bills and Lions early game. Giants, Cowboys, and Patriots, Vikings for the Thursday matchups. Enjoy. Be pulling for Buffalo, pulling for I don't know, the Giants, and then the Patriots to see what we can do. Maybe help the Bears' chances.
Are the Vikings the biggest frauds in the NFL?
Yes. Them or the Giants. Two of the biggest frauds
right
playing on
there.
Thursday.
I think the Giants are right there, but I think people are like really overestimating the Vikings.
Yeah, I think the difference between being a fraud, like the Giants, I think people know aren't as good as their record. The Vikings, I think people are convinced that they're that good. But it seems like every game they're like
it's
in
a
one-score game
yeah.
and their defense isn't very good.
Mm-mm.
I mean, their offense can hang with anybody, but that's not a playoff defense.
Listen, sir, I have Kirk Cousins as my fantasy football quarterback, and he scored a whopping 2 points. So
yes, I had him last week.
I wanted to.
That's scary.
I was crushing this dude until that game. Oh man. Anyway, Bears. So Dirty Birds.
Lose.
Another close loss to a very beatable team.
Ugh.
I'm
now convinced the Bears are bad.
You didn't know that before?
No, I'm just making a point. I just,
Well, I guess it depends on what you mean by bad. I mean, we knew they weren't going to be good.
Super
I guess
bad.
mediocre was probably the hope.
Like,
I don't think they're quote unquote bad.
They're bad, but they're
good.
They're bad, but they're a competitive bad and a fun watch. It's not like you're watching like the Panthers are boring and they're bad and they're just flat out bad.
It's true.
And honestly, the Jets were better with Flacco.
We might see him this week. They should
roll with Mike White, dude.
Flacco didn't play that bad when he was given the chance.
He didn't. No,
hate on the guy. That is like that is the 20. I mean, that's the Bears team that we loved with Matt Nagy. I think they're basically the same. I think they're a little bit worse. The defense isn't quite as good, and their offense isn't quite as good. But that's who they remind me of, really. That Matt Nagy Bears team.
That was my favorite thing on Twitter today. Was some Jets fan crying that Zach Wilson was the Mormon Ryan Leaf, and Ryan Leaf actually jumping in and talking about that, which is hilarious. Ryan Leaf's story is fantastic. Comeback story. He said he had a better life and he spent 3 of his last 10 years in prison. Better life than Jets fans. Oh man. But we'll talk about them in a little while. Joe, where do you want to get us? Where do you want to get us started on reviewing this Dirty Birds game?
To me, losing to the Falcons, the biggest thing that stood out to me when I watched it, I watched it and then I watched it back. Watching it was basically getting beat off the ball, physicality. Really, the Bears giving up major rushing, like the drive where the Falcons ended up getting their go-ahead field goal. I mean, they didn't do anything special, and Marcus Mariota was as average as white bread, 13 of 20 on the day. But really, just I think the Bears. I mean, and we've talked about it on the show before. Up front is just major soft and major bad. You're giving up 100. You're giving up 149 yards on the ground, but it felt like more. Honestly, it felt like more than that to me. But you're giving up that to backs who have no names at all. Like, I don't know. It just felt like you got punched off the ball. It feels like your defensive backs are good. We've talked about this also week to week. But it just felt like, Marcus Mariota would scramble and get his 4 or 5 yards, or Algier would get his, 3, 4, 5, 6 yards. And it would just be like, we're not doing anything fancy. We're not going to really beat you off the ball. Obviously, you have the London touchdown reception in the back of the end zone. But other than that, it just felt like the defense just got gut punched all day long, just enough till the Falcons would win that game. And I don't know, just upsetting. Just going back to everything we've said for the last handful of weeks, and you're gonna need to use your assets on defensive line help and linebacker help, and you're gonna need to use your assets on offensive line help and wide receiver help, and the the offseason is going to be really important. Want to get your thoughts on Kyler Gordon on his game. I felt like after a strong couple of weeks, he might have taken a bit of a step back. He had obviously gave up that touchdown, the initial touchdown reception. He was on the coverage to Drake London. He had a couple bad penalties, but he ended up having a couple of decent plays too. So just get your thoughts on Kyler Gordon and just Chris, I'll turn to you for your thoughts as a whole.
I mean, as a whole, I think, and Lucas and I talked about this last week in utilizing assets. One thing that somebody said recently was like, they still got a lot of holes.
Mm-hmm.
And this just has to be, I think a lot of Bears fans are hoping for this miracle offseason, and then we're in it, and we're contenders again. And that's probably not it. We're probably closer to what we thought we would be at the beginning of this year, which is a 500 to borderline playoff team next year, unless there just some amazing things happen in the offseason. And it's possible, but let's not put all our eggs in that basket, which, and I'm not saying Poles and company are doing so. They're setting themselves up for long-term success, hopefully with acquiring draft capital and hopefully they utilize this cap space well. They have to use a shit ton of the cap space, so we'll see how that works out. But as a whole, I mean, it didn't feel like they were getting punched in the mouth running the ball until late third, early fourth.
Yeah.
When Algier started getting big chunk plays. The guy wasn't doing shit all game. The only reason I know that is my father-in-law was over at my house watching the game, and he had Algier for like over 25 yards in a player prop, and dude didn't touch it until late in the third. So, and he had 8 for 55, so he ended up with almost 7 yards a carry, but one of those was a massive, like, I think over half of them was one carry, like on a 35-yard run towards the end of the game. So, I mean, the Falcons are not good. The Bears are not good. They depleted their defense when they, sold off Roquan and Quinn. And then Kyler Gordon, man, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to think, man. I hope it's somewhat of rookie ebbs and flows. It's not going to be all progress all the time. There's going to be some dips. And we already know there's no pass rush to help any of the defensive backs. We've seen Jalen have a pretty shitty couple weeks. He's been banged up, and then Gordon went out with like a concussion or something like that. And then I was listening to Hogan Johns, and they were talking about like phantom concussions, like people getting pulled out of the game because the spotter thought they were wobbly or something. And Brisker's been pulled out 2 times on this, and it was completely phantom. Same thing with Montgomery. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I right now we're picking third.
The Bears are bad, bros.
I'm not rooting for losses, but
at this point I am. I don't even care anymore. The number 3 pick, that's a whole, just if you pick in the top 5, that is like a whole treasure trove of assets for the next 3 years. Like I think could get.
You think for sure Poles will do that?
I can't see.
Like let's just say whatever quarterback goes 1-2, Stroud and whoever or whatever, and it's Will Anderson or trade back. You're still taking the package.
Jalen Carter.
I don't know if it's
I think even with those 2 guys available, the more I watch of them, they're great prospects, but I don't think they're like these, quote unquote, what people would say generational players.
I agree.
I think Will Anderson I think they both have incredible ceilings, but Will Anderson is, his size. Will Matt Eberflus like that in his defense? I know, get the good player and fit your scheme around him, but is Eberflus going to want that? He loves a lot of length on the edge, and Anderson just doesn't have that. You know that, Joe. And Carter, I mean, as good as he is, he does have his moments where he's not being the game wrecker you want to see him be. I mean, so if you can get 3 first-round picks sitting at pick 3, one this year, one next year, and the year after that, potentially, hell yeah, I feel like you got to take that. So I don't know. At this point, I think the Bears are in a pretty they pretty much set themselves up to tank pretty well. I mean, this is literally, the offense. Even this week when we would consider it a down offensive week, we scored 24 points, which for Bear standards is a boatload. I mean, at this point, I'm just that don't get Fields killed point, and the losses are just going to come because I don't see many more winnable games on the schedule. I've been saying I think they're going to squeak one win out against a team they shouldn't beat, whether that's Green Bay, the Eagles, the Bills, the Vikings. One of those teams will beat one more win on a team they probably shouldn't beat. That's all I think they can have, and maybe versus Detroit. So we'll see.
So
well. So if that's the goal, Chris Krogman keeping Justin Fields healthy, let's talk about the developments from this past week. Obviously, we lose by 3 points, and Justin Fields goes into the locker room and apologizes to the team for letting them down. And lo and behold, it comes out afterwards that he's doing some separated shoulders, some sort of basically a shoulder injury that occurred some point during the game. But obviously, we've seen Justin Fields get beat up throughout the season. Where do we stand, Chris Krogman, on Justin Fields and his current health, and kind of how you manage his availability?
What are my options?
You're the boss, Krogman.
Shut him down.
For the year? Till the bye week?
Potentially. He's gotta be like 100%. I mean, you don't want to risk long-term injury on something like that, especially with a guy he's gonna run again. So I was a little frustrated that they continued to run him after he started cramping up or whatever. You could tell he was different, and they kept running him, and then he got hurt. That was a little negligence.
Yeah, that QB power was kind of crazy. The play he got hurt on.
Yeah.
The play after wasn't a design QB run, though. That was a draw play that didn't get handed off for whatever reason. Well, Chris, you know what's actually funny about that, though, is I talked to you last week about this, and we said the Bears' best hope at the end. I literally told you, I said the Bears' best hope at the end of games is to run the freaking football. Yeah. And I think that's what they were trying to do, dead honest. I mean, you're trying to balance, developing Fields' 2-minute offense and also them trying to win games, which I agree with. Their best chance to win the game is running the damn ball, but when your quarterback is hurt, it's probably not the smartest idea. I mean, it really depends on what his actual injury is. I know we've seen some conflicting reports about shoulder dislocation and shoulder separation, which I just learned are 2 different injuries. I didn't realize that. If he actually dislocated his shoulder, that's not good. At that point, yeah, I would say maybe you consider shutting him down. If it's a sprain of some sort and you can get him back without him risking a major injury, yeah, I'd probably bring him back, but in no rush.
Well, it's risk reward, right? It's how many reps are you getting him, and what is that doing for his timing with his receivers, his trust, his just experience in general. We already know he should have seen way more snaps last year, in preseason and all that shit. So, I mean, are we doing him the same disservice by not playing him, or are we protecting him even if it's from himself by not running him out there to potentially re-injury. Because it's not like he's got a Hall of Fame offensive line up there that can, protect him and that we can feel safe that he's not going to get hurt. Or it's not like we run any other type of offense other than Justin for 150 yards that scores games.
Right, exactly. So how much are you balancing? How much are you gaining by having Justin Fields out there?
I don't know.
Because if he is doing anything to further, protect himself or, alter his play to, change what may or may not be exposed to the defense, I think at that point you can have the conversation with, it's not worth having him out there. I mean, you're not winning anyways. You're obviously about to be officially out of the playoff picture. I mean, come on, it'll be between the three of us. We all know we're not going to the playoffs, but mathematically speaking, it is about to be mathematically out. I think if we lose this weekend and a couple other things happen, you're about to be mathematically out. So like the season is punted. You're basically on to mission X is get the highest draft pick possible, and mission Y, A and B. A is get the highest draft pick possible, and B is develop Justin Fields. And so if Justin is protecting himself or playing differently, well, then I'm with you, Krogman. Sit the guy, continue to develop along this offensive line. I mean, we played like 100 offensive linemen this season. Continue to keep playing the offensive linemen and figure out who maybe who might be on this team in the future and for the offensive line, and keep just getting through this week to week to week and get to the offseason, and the offseason that us as fans are all anticipating, because at this point it's just plow through each week.
Yeah. So Lucas, I was wondering, and I've seen, Raul talk about this in chat, how the hell you guys got to 3 first-round picks, because I don't recall that happening before. But the Niners did trade 12, a third, or 12 in 21, a first and third in 22, and a first in 23 to move to 3. So if they did end up with the third pick, they could get 4 high value first round picks out of it. If somebody was in love with, Stroud or
would they get 2 firsts for that?
No, they got 3. They got number 12 in 2021. They got a first and third in 2022, and they have a first next year from Miami,
right?
Or from San Francisco. Miami has all that.
Yeah, I think the first trade I thought of when the Rams traded up with Washington, when they took, what's his name?
Goff.
Was it Goff? Yeah, they gave up a boatload of picks. I mean, it would have to be a certain situation where you would get it, but if you can trade with a team in that 15 to 20 range, I think 3 first-round picks is not off the table.
So our best bet is for Stroud and Bryce Young and all these guys to continue to have great years, so people want to jump up and get them.
Yeah, or I mean, even some team is going to take a flyer on one of these other QBs like Levis or whoever else, just because they feel like they need to. But I mean, without getting ahead of ourselves, the Justin Fields conundrum on what you do with him the rest of the year. I mean, it's definitely, a multifaceted issue. So let's be real here. In a wasted season, he is the only thing the Bears have to look forward to. I mean, the Bears not playing Justin Fields down the stretch would lose them an incredible amount of money, because they have a lot of home games coming up. One, organizationally, I mean, that's not really a reason to play the guy, but if he's okay enough to play, I don't think they would sit him out. 2, I think it's a culture issue if Fields is able to play and he's not playing, and I don't think he will sit down if he's able to get out there. I think they do need to protect him from himself by not running him 20 times a game. Maybe you go to a more run-heavy offense and drop him back 15 to 20 times instead of 30, but I don't think you can sit him for the rest of the year. I think, if anything, give him a few weeks, 3, 4, whatever he needs to get back out there and just finish the last few games. But
yeah, that's fair.
I don't think.
Joe.
Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off, Chris. I'm sorry. But that's where I would be, Luke, is just tailoring the offense a little bit to Justin Fields' potential, not injury, but less than 100% status. You get Getsy to call, exactly like you said, more heavy run set with Ebner, with Montgomery, and you essentially just tell him, hey, if if you're running, you're throwing the ball away, you're not getting yourself hit every single time you drop back.
Right. Well, we saw it a little bit there in the fourth quarter, that drive before he got hurt. I mean, I think he was 6 for 6 on that drive for like 60 yards. That was a great drive. And we saw a handful of plays in there that I was watching the game live and I was like, last week Justin would have ran there. And obviously he didn't want to run downfield. So he ended up running like 40 yards side to side anyway and hit Montgomery down the sideline. But it was like previous weeks he probably would have tucked that and ran. So just even getting him to do more things like that, evade pressure and get the ball downfield, those are definitely positive steps in his development. But you got to keep the guy healthy. I mean, you just can't get him seriously hurt or significantly hurt till the end of this year. Got to keep him up.
The Goff trade was the Rams sent 15th overall, 2 seconds and a third, along with a 2017 first and third. So there's a lot of picks, not 3 firsts, but the Rams also got picks back. They got like 4th and 6th round picks back from the Titans in that deal. But yeah, I mean, I think that's possible. I think that's that's something to talk about much farther away from now. I would say, I don't know, man. Fucking season feels completely lost with all of these close losses, and it sucks. It sucks. Like it's like not fine when you lose to the Lions and you lose to the Dolphins and they're close games. But then you lose to the Falcons and Fields gets hurt. That's a real bummer.
How disappointed are we in Tristan Ebner? Goodness gracious, he looked like
he looked terrible.
He was awful.
He does not seem He doesn't seem to have like confidence in his understanding of what he's supposed to be doing. He had like one nice run in the red zone where he fought for some extra yards, but he doesn't seem to have the burst and the go to where he's supposed to go. And then the ability to cut it back. Like my understanding is he was an outside zone type runner in college, and that's kind of why they drafted him. But he looks like he has no clue what he's doing out there.
Terrible vision. I think we saw this week too, how valuable Khalil Herbert is to this run game as well. I mean, they didn't have it this week. Them guys didn't have it this week. Monty's a nice little piece, and obviously we saw what he can do in the pass game. But as we've been talking about for weeks, Herbert is just a better pure runner.
I love Montgomery.
I was saying, man, like I don't know. Montgomery's another one that I don't. I mean, his value is in his toughness and his ability to, get yards after contact and use his moves in open space. And he uses a lot of good moves in open space, but his vision is kind of dog shit too. You see him running into the back of people a lot, trying to force something that's not there, or not taking something wide enough and forcing it back inside before those blocks kind of have their chance to push down the line. I don't know. There's a reason he went in the 3rd round, obviously.
Because he's kind of slow. He's just a little slow. Just a little slow for David Montgomery. No, but you're right. I mean, Khalil Herbert is obviously the most explosive running back that we have, and we're going to miss him for the next couple of weeks. It's just the Bears fans just need to buckle up and realize that this is part of that this just sucks. This is part of the team that we kind of knew we were going to have, and I guess I was in the optimistic train, too optimistic going into the season. I mean, goodness gracious, you lose to the Falcons, you lose to the Lions and Dolphins, and back to back to back. You lose to the Commanders. You lost to the Giants, who I think are frauds. Like, you got some losses on your schedule already to some teams that I feel like are not that good. And you got another team coming up this week, the Jets. I feel like are not that good. I mean, you go through the schedule on Jets, Packers, Jets, Packers, Lions, Vikings. There's four teams that are probably like not really that good of teams that if you'll likely lose to them. You'll probably lose to the Eagles and Bills as well. So like you're gonna ride out 6 losses. You're gonna ride out a nice 10-game losing streak to close down this season. So just buckle up, guys. This is what it is for the time being.
Yeah, this week's weird. I don't think the Jets are great. I mean, I think their defense is pretty great. Their offense leaves a lot to be desired, but they're better than us for sure. They're a fringe playoff team in the AFC. Yeah, Joe. I mean, you're right. The next handful of weeks are going to be rough. I do, like I said, the Bears, one of these weeks they're going to put it together at the end of one of these games and win one of these games. They shouldn't. It'll be a great day when they break the win streak.
Can it be the Green Bay game, please, just to draw my sanity?
To end the Green Bay season, that would be sweet.
Yes.
The nail in the coffin.
Amen. Yes. Oh yeah, keep going on the Jets. Let's turn over let's turn the page over to the Jets. I mean, are there paths to victory to defeating the New York Jets?
They don't match up well with them. The Jets pass rush is pretty good. They generate a lot of pressure up front. They're going to kick the shit out of us in the trenches. This is probably just going to be well, for one, I don't think Fields is going to play. I think this is going to be a disgusting 17-13 game or some slop fest that we're used to seeing last year.
This is one of those games where like Trevor Siemian comes out and lights it up. Not to say because it's the Bears or anything like that, but it's the kind of shit you see in the NFL all the time.
Chris,
Jets are trash.
Did you go take a little poop?
I mean, I do. No, you had to put on his Notre Dame sweatshirt, dude.
No, my 4-year-old was throwing up upstairs.
Oh, pain.
Is he all right?
Yeah, he's all right.
Is he all good now?
He's crashed out down here now.
Oh man. Yeah. The Jets. Let's just start there. Do you guys think Fields is playing this week?
I say yes. I think he plays, but I think that Joe Flacco plays for the Jets.
Yeah, I don't think Fields plays.
Yeah, I think Wilson will start and ultimately be benched this game. This is the week where the Bears, Eddie Jackson or Brisker can make a huge turnover-worthy play and end Zach Wilson's Jets career. That'd be sick.
That'd be something else. You think it would end his career? God, the Jets have they just do it to themselves, I guess. Sanchez,
maybe his Jets career.
Sanchez, Darnold, Wilson. Is it West Coast QBs? They just need to stay away from them West Side QBs or what?
I do got to say, I think Twitter scouts were pretty on point with their QB evaluations in that class. A lot of them were not on Wilson. You know, the arm talent was there, but that was about it. I don't know. He's just not good. He sucks.
Not good. Sucks.
Like, he flat out sucks.
Yeah, their defense is good though. Sauce Gardner is going to shut down whoever he's on.
Mooney, Claypool.
Yeah, he's going to shut down one of them, but like, is that really that big of a loss? I mean, you're not getting anything out of your wide receiver room. So,
what's your guys' concern level on Claypool?
None at this point. just because I feel like he's got to come in and learn a lot of the system.
Concern level 3.5, 4. It's not the end of the world. I think the guy he might have a learning curve, to put it nicely.
Oh, he might be dumb.
Might be pretty dumb.
Yeah,
I see, dude. Literally,
I find it so hard to
watching the
believe
game.
that anybody that went to Notre Dame with their freaking academic bullshit standards, that anybody coming out of that college is dumb.
We make everybody come above this threshold. Everybody that goes to Notre Dame is smart.
Same thing with Stanford, dude. But you're crying because every dumb fucking redneck can get into Bama, dude.
Yeah, I got into Bama.
No. I'm watching the game and I'm like, oh, wow, Claypool's in motion again. I'm like, wow, Claypool's in motion again. And then I look and I'm like, oh, he's not in motion. Fields is just lining him up properly. So, yeah, step one to getting on the field is knowing where to go. So not fully concerned, but honestly, really, maybe if the Bears made this trade in the offseason, would this guy even be up to speed when the season started next year? I have no clue. So maybe this will help him out in the long run. But that second round pick we gave up for him is not looking so hot right now.
I wouldn't call it
basically looking like a.
I think his the effort's not there. You know, classroom effort or whatever. Physical talents is always there.
Whatever it is.
I just don't think he puts the time into to learn what he's doing. He's
Surely
not a master at his craft.
A Golden Domer with some character issues? No way. No.
Save that for the college football podcast.
I'm just saying, those two things don't line up. Notre Dame always has those choir boys, hard workers.
Cole Kmet is a choir boy.
Facts.
Cole Kmet's a motherfucking beast.
Yeah, that catch was sick. Insane, man.
OJ Howard's working out.
Hey, I'm giving Cole Kmet his props.
I'm just saying, man.
Right.
Fucking talk some shit. Let's talk some shit.
Joe thinks Fields is playing this week. Chris and I think it's Simeon.
Chris,
I'm with you. I'm with you on the fact that if Simeon does play, it probably will be the Bears' most efficient passing game of the year. He'll probably throw the ball like 40 times and have an average of 6 yards per completion and 65%.
Dude, Simeon can chuck it, dude. Simeon can bomb it.
I just think they're going to go to like a quick offense if he plays. Just thinking dunk down the field.
It's going to be Simeon right to Velas.
Dude, why did they not give him the ball one time on that gosh darn fake jet sweep? One time.
Yeah, run every week.
Yeah, but they didn't give it to him. Just give him the ball.
Dude, I literally, when I'm not joking when I think they should put him at running back for like a few snaps per game.
They should try to use him like Debo. Until like Debo didn't really become a very efficient wide receiver, still really isn't until year 3 or 4.
He's just like a tank in the open field. You just got to get him the ball. Like Velas is the same. When we saw him on those, like when he has the ball in his hands, he is pretty electric.
He runs violent. He runs hard.
He's not. Joe, I'm not saying they should have spent a 3rd round pick on him. I'm just saying the few times he has had the ball, he's gained like 15 yards.
I mean, you're not crying about draft capital almost like 8 months later, are you? I mean, Jesus Christ, dude.
No,
that's no, I'm not talking to you.
I'm saying you got to squeeze the lemon to make some lemonade.
Joe's trying to get blood from a stone over here.
He's frustrating. He can't. He doesn't give you.
He is very frustrating
as a wide receiver. He doesn't give you anything. Here's this gadget guy we're gonna waste the 3rd round draft pick on.
Dude, bro, like, listen. It does not matter who's in the front office. The Bears have one of these picks every fucking year.
They suck.
Jerron Gilbert or whatever pool jumper was, like that dude, like Adam Shaheen.
Oh my gosh, baby Gronk,
dude, like
Kevin White.
White.
Nah, I'm not gonna throw Kevin White into that mix. I'm talking like those second, third, fourth round guys where you're like, what's happening here? Oh, Iwe Beniwe, that's another one that I was like, what? Who? No, that didn't work.
Shea McClellan.
Oh my God, Shea McClellan is my least favorite Bear of all time.
Phil Emery got duped by Belichick on that one. That was straight dupe job.
Yeah, Dante Hightower got drafted a couple picks later. Like, oh, thanks.
There was a lot of talent there to be had. Well, anyway, yes, Velus Jones is not looking hot, but that kick return was sick.
Got it bad for Velus Jones.
I don't know. The Bears will need probably at least 2 new starting receivers next year. At least.
Yeah, the free agent class is booty cheeks.
Well, that's also why I'm like, okay, the Claypool trade makes sense. There's not really anyone they're going to add in free agency. It'd probably be much better or have more upside.
That cost was a desperation cost. You know, because they weren't gonna, because the Packers were offering a second as well, and the Bears. I mean, we can say all day long, you know, don't give up a second for Claypool, but then what? I mean, is there a second round receiver that we know is going to be there? That's going to be that has the upside that Claypool does. Claypool does have the upside. We know he can do it and has done it in the NFL.
Here's how I look at it. If Chase Claypool's in this draft, he'd probably be a second-round pick. Don't give me that face, Joe. For what you know and what he's done in the NFL already, he would be a second-round pick.
I guess
been in the league 3 years. He had one incredible year and 2 quote-unquote down years where he still put up decent wide receiver 2/3 numbers. I mean, if you look at the bust rate of receivers you're going to take in those mid rounds, you would probably spend a second-round pick on him. So, yeah, I think it's all kind of justified. I think that's.
Do you think he would have been a second rounder in last year's loaded class of receivers?
I just think in general, he is like from what he offers you from a talent and physical perspective, I think he would be a second-round pick in most drafts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I guess that's probably true. All right. Anybody got us beating the Jets with or without Fields, with or without Wilson? Anybody got it happening anyway?
I've taken the Bears the past few weeks, and like always, I'm going to say I think they're going to be in the game. I don't think they're going to be out of the game until there's zeros on the clock at the end of the fourth quarter. I think they'll be in it the whole time like they always do. But no, I don't think they can beat the Jets. I don't think they will beat the Jets. I think they can beat the Jets. I don't think they will beat the Jets.
Chris?
What? No.
Their defense.
Dude, I told Lucas last week they could lose out.
Yeah. And that's looking better and better each week.
Fuck, they're going to.
I'll suck it up. They're going to have basically
Jets 16. Jets 16. Bears 12.
Is that with Fields?
Shoot, no. The Bears have been scoring a lot more lately. I've been picking really low scores to be cynical and be a jackass. Really. Oh fuck it. I think the Jets are good. I think your Jets are going to win 23-19. Yeah. 23-19.
I like it. That's with Simeon starting.
Sadly, yeah.
Give me a Fields prediction.
If Fields is in, we win. I don't know. I mean, no. I mean, that's just like that's the fan in me. I'm a believer in Justin Fields, but like, I guess if Fields wins, just swap the numbers. I think you're going to go. So you're going to see 28. You're going to see 28-24. Bears win. Why not? I just feel like with that guy, he's just such a dude that it gives you a chance.
23-13 Jets.
Is that a Simeon prediction?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Simeon starts, I'm going to say 17-14 Jets in a very, very sloppy game. If Fields plays, I'm going to say 26-23 Jets.
Why do the Jets score more points if Fields plays?
Because the game will be more wide open. There'll be more possessions.
Because I feel like Fields gives the offense I feel like he always has one drive a game where he marches them right down the field and then scores, and then the defense just gets their ass blown out and gives the points right back up. Yeah. I think the pace of play moves faster with Fields in there. With Simeon, I could see them just slopping first downs together, dink and dunk and first down and 10-minute drive, and then we turn it over on downs.
Anybody have any sort of nostalgia seeing Cordell Patterson run that kick return back for touchdown?
Sure.
The Bears just have a meltdown in one part of the game. They just absolutely melt down in one, like they blew their lead before half. Like just terrible, absolutely fucking terrible. They melt down every week.
Yeah, the special teams coordinator is having some problems the last couple of weeks. Blocked punt for a touchdown, kick return for a touchdown. Sad. Very sad.
Hey, well, we'll keep seeing it. The silver lining is that if the Bears win that game, they're probably picking like 10th or something. So, whatever. Fuck it. Send it in. I'm all for the top 5 pick at this point.
Fuck, we keep losing. We're number 1 here, folks.
If we end up getting the number 1 pick from the Texans, oh my God.
Poles is already working the phones. It's like, hey, so we're not going to win again. And we're going to need all your picks.
You don't think they'll beat Detroit? You don't think they'll beat Detroit in the rematch?
No.
Kitties.
It's in Detroit, right?
Such a tough place to play.
And we already lose at home. I'm not saying that, you know, it's such a tough place to play. I'm saying that it really wasn't any better.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think the Kitties.
I know they'll win another game. They'll win another game eventually. But
the last
Eagles. That'd be awesome to beat the Eagles and knock them out of the 1 seed. They lost home field advantage.
Who would they lose it to? The Vikings? No,
Dallas.
The Vikings? Dallas? Dallas only has 2 losses?
2 or 3, but I don't know, man. The Eagles haven't looked great the past few weeks.
3, yeah. Oh, and the Giants have 3. Minnesota's 8.
I still think I've been saying the 49ers, in my opinion, are the best team in the NFC. It's the one team I would not want to fucking play.
Yeah. I don't know. Philly's tough.
Philly's tough, but I think San Fran has the ammo that they could beat them on the road. I think San Fran's defense is just absurd.
Yeah, Philly's defense is no slouches.
No slouches. I just think San Fran has the best defense in football when they're healthy. Their front seven is just ridiculous.
We have the lowest total on the week. Well, second lowest, actually. 39 and a half. 39 and a half.
So they must think Simeon's playing. What do you think the line is if Fields is playing? It'd probably be 45 if I had to guess.
Say 43 to 45. Probably 45. Oh, see? Look, Lucas. You can see his green hat. You can see straight through it and see the brick behind it.
Bricks.
Yeah.
What you think about Notre Dame USC?
Oh, look, there we go. There you go, right there, boom.
The whole thing's orange, dude.
It's brick. You can see the brick behind him. You can see straight through me.
What do you think about Notre Dame USC this weekend?
Well, I think about you.
What do you think about the Black Irish?
Sounds like he's calling the Finnabaugh show.
Well, I don't think they'll let up as many points as UCLA did, but I don't know if they'll score as many either. It's always a fun rivalry.
What do you think about Alabama-Auburn?
What I think about Alabama-Auburn is Lane Kiffin's not going to Auburn next year. That was a way better rumor when he didn't say that it wasn't true.
You don't think he's going to go?
I don't know. He said it wasn't true, but that just means it's definitely true.
I don't know. I've been hearing like for sure yes and for sure no. Like,
well, yeah.
There's so many days now.
Is the Auburn job open already?
Yeah, you want it?
Well, I already turned it down because I don't want to leave Denver. I'm waiting for the CU job. You know who should take the CU job?
It's open.
No. Well, I'm just saying. You know who should get the CU job? Who hasn't gotten an NFL job? Is Eric Bieniemy. He should take the CU job because he's an alum and he was awesome here, and he could show how awesome of a head coach he is.
He's the man.
Joe, you got to sing. You got to sing the song, and we got to save this for the college football podcast.
I didn't know we were starting one of these.
Chicago Bears make every play clear the way to victory. Bear down, Chicago Bears. Put up a fight with the might so fearlessly. We'll never forget the way you thrilled the nation with your T formation. Bear down, Chicago Bears. And let them know why you're wearing the crown. You're the pride and joy of Illinois, Chicago Bears. Bear